A wider look, because of modern communication and modern technology, the whole world has become our neighborhood. And we are demographically moving closer and closer to each other, and we've become a neighborhood without becoming a brotherhood.
Journeyman is a platform where men can lay down their titles, grow together, learn from each other, and be accountable to each other. Many of us deal with several problems throughout our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. At times, we may feel alone in our troubles. However, Journeyman is a space where you can feel safe expressing yourself with other men that are on the same path. Journeyman is a space for people like myself who never thought they would be living purposefully in their life.
Test, can you hear us? All right, we're back. Sorry guys. So
technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties. So we should be back. Let's dive back into that conversation. So Sergio, tap back right where you were, man.
Yeah, no, to what George was saying, and I wanted to just publicly honor George in because he's a great example of a father who showed up. And I go back, I was a freshman in high school, and my social studies teacher, one of my Moses, but he said for day one, freshman year, he goes, I'll always be here for you guys. And I don't know of one day where he was absent. And so, I have this philosophy, it was been my philosophy in education, right? I'm just going to show up, right? I may not understand the class, may not love the class, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to start there. And George is a great example for going back to the father work, where he showed up, he engaged, participated, and I think that's part of his gifting, that this is zeal for life, and that sharpens other dads that are maybe in the shadows and have one foot in, one foot out. Yeah. And I think that's the invitation too for Journeyman or any space that God is calling you to, right? Just show up, right? You don't have to know and what's going to happen and what it's gonna be about, but that's the first step. I think George is a great example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we good to go, Jose? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna brag about you too, George. If nobody's heard George's story, invite him to your schools and to your work meetings. Get him in there. I'm his agent right now. No, I'm playing.
He's working pro bono.
Hey. Yeah, but George, in hearing these stories, or just in Journeyman in general, it was a great example of I have a justified reason to be bad.
That's good.
We look at everything's justified. Everything's justified. I did this because it was justified. Well, this happened to me, so I did this. And if you only knew this is why I do that. And anything in this world can be justified. But to actually take a step back and go, no, I'm not going to use justification to live this other life. I'm going to seek God in my life. I'm going to entrust God that He knows what He's doing way better than me. I always tell God, keep my human hands out of your holy work.
Hey,
if I put my hands in it, I'll mess it up.
That is so good.
Hang out with Patrick Career for a little while. I'll, base it on me, man. I'll just play at 10 o'clock. So,
hey.
so really, the justification of wanting to go out there and live a life, and I have a couple notes. Sorry.
You're good, man.
That justification, we have to kill that. We have to really put that to rest. And that word the enemy has used for many, many, many since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And so been getting really good at it to use that word in anything.
That's good.
And I think with George and yourself, and even with Sergio, I think as a journeyman in general, I think we in a society we've forgotten about two things, especially pandemic.
Right.
Pandemic, it was hard at first, but then after a while, you're like, because you're also social all the time. You have your titles and your work, and you're like this all day.
Yep.
And then the pandemic hit, and then I was like, I'm kind of cool not seeing anybody.
Hey.
I think I think I'm gonna sit in this house, and
that's so
true.
true.
It's like, you want to go? No, I don't want to go back out. Like I was okay. I started getting used to that.
That's good.
But I think in society with texting and social media and whatever it may be, we've forgotten about two things, and that's time and eyes.
Yeah.
Making time for each other. All three of you have made time for me. Other brothers and journeymen have made time for me.
Right.
And actually having eye contact. You know,
good.
Actually,
That's good.
Actually, time and eyes. If you look back, that's what Jesus did. He made time for people, and there was eye contact there. And so, journeyman is one of those things that that I see. I can see using those two simple things, time and eyes. This morning I was like, what am I going to talk about? I don't kind of looking at the questions, and you're just, I don't know. I'm a coffee shop talker, you know.
Yeah.
If you want me for coffee, I'll talk all day. But
That's what I'll talk about.
I spilled my coffee on the way in here, bro.
Yeah, George. Epic fail.
Half of George's coffee's outside if anybody wants it. But start putting cameras and this. It's just not me. But I was reading John 4, and it was the Samaritan woman at the well, and I was looking at this like, that's journeyman right there.
That's right. Yeah,
That's journeyman right there. So Jesus met with her time and eyes.
Yeah,
you know,
time and eyes.
he knew the business.
Wow.
But even in knowing the business, he wasn't like, well, you should, you know.
Yeah.
And you see that in journeyman. You know, sometimes we do share,
Right.
but it's never judging or condemning.
Right.
It's never judging or condemning.
Or fixing.
Or fixing.
That's
good.
Yeah,
That's
or
hard.
fixing.
Yeah.
And you know, the conversation with Jesus, I was looking it up. It's like that's the longest conversation that anybody had in the book of John with him.
Right.
And she went back to her community,
Wow.
and then went back to and told about Jesus, and then the community went out.
Wow.
So it's
good.
time and eyes going to your community. From that community comes out to hear about what changed you. And I see that in journeyman. I see it in these groups. I see that in what men are doing now.
Right.
You know, we have this relationship with God,
Yeah.
one-on-one.
Right.
And then we go back to our communities or have a platform for that.
It's good.
And then from hearing that, now we go back out to exactly what happened to Jose, exactly what happened to George, and
good.
and we can actually physically see this happening. So
Yeah.
it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing time right now.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's good, man. And really just to go back to just kind of where, you know, what is journeyman, right? That's what we're kind of diving in. It's just a conversation. This broadcast is going to be called Sharpen from going forward. And we apologize, man, for the errors. You know, we're partnering with other organizations and using the stream and stuff like that. So we'll edit all that, but this is going to be good.
You guys are all part of the rehearsal.
That's right. Everybody's live. When you go live, man, it's all good. This is what podcast is for. So, you know, really the gatherings, again, it's an invitation of men. And we, you know, you can see the slides there. What does this really look like? And so as you see journeymen, what is a gathering? You know, are they going to pray for me? Blah, blah, blah. Nah. Hey, if you want that isolation, tap me on the shoulder. Tap on the, hey, bro, you know, this is what I'm going through, blah, blah, blah. That will eventually come down time, you know. But, man, it's really just, you know, there's a couple areas that we focus on. The challenges. We consider these more time to journey with each other. Whether it's a hike or whether it's bike ride activity, some type of physical activity, some type of boating, fishing, you know, that type of stuff. That you really, you know, time and eyes type of time, right? Because as, you know, you get with your other brothers, you get with other men, sometimes all it is just bragging. In reality, that's a mask, you know?
That's good.
So these challenges, man, you get these opportunities to like journey with other individuals and friends and build relationship and have a good time, you know? And so, you know, we've done hikes before, we've done, you know, bike rides. We in April, actually it was May sometime, May or June, you know, one of the other community members, Manuel, shout out to Manuel, man. He's probably tuning in. You know, he's doing his Awesome Dad Award deeds. He's coaching his son's soccer team. So, but man, he led that initiative, man. It was really, really cool to see. I mean, another 50-something guys showed up on bikes.
Yeah, we have Modesto PD there with us, right?
MPD was there as well, and Tuolumne. Shout out to Tuolumne River Trust for paving the way, the pathways down in Tuolumne. Man, it was really cool to kind of dive into the neighborhood and just spend time again, right? That's what a challenge looks like. So when you see things like, hey, what is a challenge? What does that look like? This last part of, you know, what Journeyman is about is personal ministry development. And so these are things or activities that provide mutual support to one another, mentorship opportunities for men to develop their personal ministry, right? Talked about Veterans in Action, right? George is in the process of launching that thing and taking it to another level. Patrick and with his organization that he works for is taking that into another level. Sergio, the same thing. Me, the same thing. And others that are part of the committee that are leading efforts, that are leading community-wide initiatives. This is personal ministry development. Why? Because whatever gifts and resources that your brother has, it's that opportunity to help light that fire for one another, I guess you would say. And these are also like individual volunteer opportunities, right? Whether it's things that we do in the community, different community development efforts, and so forth. And the last thing is really like leadership development. There's individuals that that are highly skilled in different areas, and that's where the mentorship and leadership development comes in. And so there's two folds to this. One is personal development. What does personal development look like to us as men? Sometimes I can say this, and living and breathing in this thing, for me, it's come to life as personal development. I've had some men that poured into my life that really, really sharpened me in different areas, and that it didn't feel good, you know, really didn't feel good. And it's helped me grow personally as a man, as a son, as a father, as a working man. You know, it's helped me grow. Why? Because I was open to it. I was invited into community, right? And then, you know, ministry development. What does that look like? What has God called you to do in your sphere, in your community, in your city, in your town, in the country? Each one of us, man, as men, if we're walking into our purpose, things will shift in our lives.
Amen.
Generally, you know, I'm not here to preach, but that's really what Journeyman is how do we get men into community engagement, involved with one another, to establish this form of journeying together and not fixing each other. Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. I mean, it's not a skill. I mean, even for us as kind of leading this journey together, right? We sometimes hold back. It's like, oh, that feels kind of weird, you know. But yeah. So Sergio, you wanted to tap in? I felt like you got something to say. Go for it.
I did. No, you felt me in the spirit. No,
I did, bro.
It was weird. No, and it's challenging because, and I'd have to find research to back it up. But I'm sure there's out there. But as men, one of the things, and you guys are married, right? You guys could probably relate to it a little bit more. And I don't want to claim this as an identity, but we're fixers.
That's true.
Right? And, you know, I've been in relationships, and sometimes it's like the girl doesn't want you to fix it,
right?
But she will want you to just listen, right?
Yeah.
And so even in this group,
I'm learning that right now. I've been married for 20 years. I'm still learning how to listen.
In the group, right? Like, you know, and you know, naturally, if, you know, we're in the social work field or mental health, our natural inclination is, let me
fix it.
Let me help
fix
you,
it,
right?
Phoenix.
And so, but it takes an intentional approach, right? And so I'm sit with my brother. I'm gonna listen to my brother. I'm gonna hold space for my brother. The other piece, it's been said earlier, and it's kind of now trendy, right? Out, you know, in different podcasts.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brene Brown if she's out there.
Hey,
but George said
a couple of her books, man.
earlier.
Okay, I don't know who that is. Sorry.
Vulnerability.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
Vulnerability.
Got it.
And, you know, I'd like to share one thing that one of my mentors and journeyman taught me, which people move either from love or fear.
That's good.
Right? And the invitation that I ask you to kind of engage in is, you know, if you come out to a journeyman event or whatever event it is that you do, are you doing it out of fear or are you doing it out of love? Right? Or if you're staying back in your house, am I not going to this gathering, to this meeting, event out of fear or out of love? And whichever, especially if it's fear, there's work to do there, right? And we all have to do that work, right? No matter how old you are, how advanced you are, there's always internal work. I think that's part of the growth, right?
Right.
Aspect. Yeah.
Oh, that's good, man. Go ahead, tap in.
Go ahead, George.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I think that's key, bro. Again, the focus, Patrick alluded to it earlier. You know, Jose talking about on the slides, and what you're saying is relationship building.
Yeah.
We live in a society that is so connected by social media on every platform. There's
Using it now.
Snapchat, there's Twitter, there's this, but they're so disconnected. There's no relationship. But as we begin to build that relationship with each other, we allow ourselves to be sharpened. Iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And the reality is, we're all walking this walk of life. For
Yeah.
those of us that know of God, those of us that are trying to find out God, those who want to be involved in community. My job isn't to try to fix someone. I'm learning that too. I can't shove Jesus down someone's throat. I can't shove religion. No, what Christ shows us throughout the Bible was he built relationships with people. What was it about Christ that the multitudes followed him?
That's good.
He understood their needs. He got to know people. You
Yeah.
know, we don't know everything because the Bible only contains so much. There's if the Bible would say if everything was written down, there would be no books, right?
Right.
But people loved them, and that's what we're cultivating is this relationship where we begin to engage, because the reality is I can show up to church, I can show up to community events, I can show up to and I may be going through all hell breaking loose in my life and nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
But I begin to develop that relationship. I can, brother, I'm struggling with this, and I'm maybe going through this and you let that guard down and you begin to minister to each other. You begin to sharpen each other. And that's the thing with iron, as you're sharpening it, I may have some dull spots. I mean, it's not going to feel good as I'm getting sharpened, but allowing myself to be, and I think as we build relationships, that's one thing, especially amongst men, is we don't see that. We it's like we carry the burdens, we carry the world on our shoulders. When do you let that down? When do you, begin to develop and not try to, maybe I don't want to get fixed. I just want to share what's going on. Like, this is what I'm going through. And you have that support there. You have that brother there. You have that group that, I got your back. I'm here for you. And I think that's key to what you guys are saying is as we establish this group, as we go forward, just the gathering we had back in March, like Jose said, we had over 63 different people there, and nobody wanted to leave. The event was only for a couple of hours.
Right.
A bunch of guys showing up, going through life. You begin to see table talk, and it was amazing to see that people from different churches, people from different communities, whatever, coming together and having all things in common, like the Bible says.
Yeah.
Right. And just living life, because we're all going through something. We're all going through this walk of life, and seeing that, like, you start to see, like, there is a need for this in our community.
Yeah.
Especially amongst the men. There is a need for journeymen. There is a need for breaking down walls and breaking down and building relationships, right? Where you can really have that friendship, that relationship with, your brother in a way that that he's got your back and vice versa, right? So I'll stop there with
Yeah,
that.
you're good. Go ahead, Pat. You had something?
No, there's just a couple things as he's talking. I'm just like,
Peek into the mic a little bit.
I'm just listening, and I don't even know what I was going to say because I was listening so much. That's I'm learning. I'm practicing this stuff. I'm listening to what you're saying.
That's
You didn't try
good,
to fix
man.
me. Cool.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is
That's good.
no, but it's really accountability. It really is accountability. And my I have one of them strong Latina wives, man. Don't play.
Hey.
And so she, I can be on the phone. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Yeah, just love her through it, and just God is with you. God. Yeah, just love your wife unconditionally. Yeah, and then I get off the phone. Yeah, right. Then I get off the phone. Hey, how come this wasn't? Hey, what was it? Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Hey, and she's like,
Takes that as
hey,
a joke.
I just heard you on the phone with your, love your wife through everything. Let me finish my story, man. So, I just heard you on the phone talking all that, love your wife and, be there for her and don't, control your anger and everything. Then you don't get off the phone and act a fool, man. Oh, you heard that? Hey, for everybody listening or watching, every time I'm talking, that's when that stuff is happening, man. It goes with the story.
Yeah, that's good.
And so it's accountability. It's accountability to we're done with words. We're done with do this, do that, the fixing. Show me.
Yeah,
show me.
that's
and
hard.
Sergio said, go back to show me. I ask my students all the time, who raised you?
Yeah.
Is it your mom and dad? Maybe it was grandma, grandpa. Maybe it was aunt and uncle. Maybe it was, foster parents or something like that. And tell me who raised you.
Yeah.
And then once you tell me who raised you, what characteristics of them do you want to pass on?
It's good.
And what characteristics do you want to be like, no, I'm good. I'm good with that. Oof. And it's so amazing to listen to these stories. I have like I said, everything from an 18-year-old to, almost 40-year-old. And my mom raised me.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to pass on. This is what I don't want to pass on. My dad raised me. This is what I want to pass on. This is what I don't want to pass on. And so in Journeyman, it is that accountability. In Journeyman, it is that sharing, ironing sharpens iron.
Yeah.
But eventually somewhere in that, you know, there's a root to the fruit. So
Right.
somewhere in that, why do I act the way I act?
Right.
Why is that a pet peeve for me?
good.
Why do I get mad easy? Why is lust still part of my life? Why is, you know, can I not say no to these temptations? Like,
Right.
So Journeyman allows you layer by layer, to start doing that. And we say, it took 1 year and 3 months, but you know, it's better 1 year and 3 months than 25 years.
Right.
You know, there's people that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s that still are holding on to those things that they went through as a child or a teenager. So peeling those things back and why we act the way we act is very important.
Yeah.
And once again, as brothers, but also with knowing that we have a perfect Father that we can turn to.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
just a bunch of kids talking about dad.
Right.
A bunch of kids
Right.
talking about dad.
That's good.
That's what I love about
I
it.
like that.
Yeah. No, that's really good, man. So just a definition of what journeyman is, right? If you Google journeyman, okay, it says number one, it's a worker or a sports player who's reliable but not outstanding. Okay. Second part is a trained worker who is employed by someone else. So, you know, the definition of a journeyman is that, man. We're working at a trade, right? We're working. I mean, you think about a journeyman that's an electrician, right? They're skilled at their top level, if I understand that right. But it takes work. It takes development. It takes peeling of the onion, or like you said, peeling life away, peeling the scales away. So, man, that's really what journeyman is about. And really, man, you can call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You know, the idea of this space is why we're so passionate about it, because one, it's been fruitful in our lives.
Yeah.
Each one of us here. And this is not all the community, and we're going to have coming up, we're going to have other one-on-one guests, and you know, we'll be having conversations about the same questions that we're dialoguing today. And you know, journeyman is localized as of now, but again, we would want to help your spaces grow. And wherever you're at, wherever you're watching this from, you know, we're here to support other ministries, if you want to say ministry, to help expand their footprint, their mission into developing men and the next generation of men. So I'm gonna go around the room, and we've been talking for a while, man. But I wanna go around and just, what are some last closing thoughts with you, Sergio, on what is journeyman to you and why is it so important, man?
You know, somebody said, I don't know if they said journeyman, but the image that, and I grew up, I'm a kid at heart, okay?
Yeah, we
you
all are.
gotta be like childlike to enter the kingdom.
Yeah, that's right.
So the first thing I grew
Childlike
up
faith.
in the 90s, right?
He rode his bike here.
Hey,
I did ride my
Hey,
tricycle.
That's what
Tricycle.
that's what you relate, bro.
But the first image, you know, that jumped into my mind was the Ninja Turtles.
Hey,
right? So
all
we're
right.
sitting around the fire. Remember that Splinter scene?
yeah.
You know, and you know,
good.
we all have, you know, our personalities, you know, our gifts and our flaws or whatever.
Yeah.
But when we work together, right?
Yeah.
we can get the mission done. And so, you know, and I've been meditating on it for a minute. I was like, 'cause I never really, one of my mentors in college said, fraternities are exclusive. I was not. I'm all about inclusion, right?
Right.
But you know, I think it really feels like a fraternity, a brotherhood. You know, and yeah, you know, that image of the Ninja Turtles, and it just gives me a warm feeling, man. Like,
Hey.
I mean.
So which one are you, Raphael?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you should know this.
Hey, come on, bro. Let the world.
Michelangelo, bro.
Glasses.
All right.
I relate to any turtle because if I fall on my back, that's it. I ain't getting up.
That's good.
you
That's
go.
me too.
That's it.
I'm a pizza eating one.
You know, I think I don't know if we change through colors in different stages of life, but yeah, I'd say Michelangelo.
Cool, man.
I
Awesome.
have fun now.
Yeah, I heard that. What about you, Brother Pat? Any last closing comments?
Yeah, I think that Journeyman is just we talk about the accountability, and it's just hard to be good sometimes, man. It's
Man.
hard to be
What you
good.
telling?
Hey, you watching this? I know it's hard to be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to be good, but you this stupid thing right here.
That's right.
This stupid thing right here. It's it's a superpower. It's either used for good or evil.
That's right.
And just to check it and to know what
Man,
we're
I'm
using in
guilty.
our social media,
Yep.
to know what we're using. This is a whole podcast right here talking
That's
about
right.
this stupid thing right here.
Very
That's
true.
that's brought many people together. That's doing this podcast and this
Yeah.
social media. And this stupid thing has caused divorces and caused
good.
breakups and caused heartache and caused and if we could just really grip on, latch onto that and find out really what's going on with this thing right here.
Right.
Go through your phone and look at your contacts. How many of them do I really need? And
That's
how many
good.
of them are my gym? How many are those 911 call that I can call George? I've called all three of you before, so this is proof right
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
And so, I was telling my family that recently we had a family member die, and I said, hey, I'm really sick and tired of meeting at funerals.
That's good.
I'm really sick and tired of meeting at funerals, so we're doing more things with my dad's side of the family, my mom's side of the family, and this phone to go through it.
Man.
And who is somebody, I mean,
you're
whoever's
preaching to
watching
me,
this too,
man.
right here too, like go through your contacts and who just scroll down them. Who do I need to reach out to? Hey, how you doing?
Right.
I love you, man. I was thinking about you.
Right.
Who should you be like, I think I'm going to delete that.
Hey.
Hey, I think I probably shouldn't do that. Hey, I think I should have, and really in your phone, start having accountability, not to others, but to yourself.
That's good.
But to yourself.
Yeah.
And so I just want to leave that.
That's a good nugget, man. Appreciate that. What about you, George, man? Any last closing comments?
Closing comments.
Yeah,
What's
man.
journeyman to me?
Yeah, man.
Again, just you both gentlemen here said it, accountability, relationships. Life is so fast paced,
Yeah.
We're what the microwave generation, you can make a whole meal by throwing it in the microwave, it's ready, we want it. But relationships take time.
That's good.
They take
Yeah.
work. You have to work at it, whether it's your marriage or friendship or community. And I think for me, with Journeyman and the vision of it as we continue forward, it's just about building that accountability amongst each other. Like, what I said earlier, it's okay not to be okay. I think so
Right.
many times we go into spaces where we are the leader at this space, and you have to be the leader. But when you get home, do you bring that with you? Can you let your guard down? Can you let your
Right.
guard down amongst your brethren? We get around, sometimes even religious spaces where everyone acts holier than thou,
Right.
and they don't ever fail or they don't struggle. But that's
Yeah.
not the reality. From the pulpit to the pew, from
Right.
the White House to the community,
Yeah.
men go through things. So how do we let our guards down and cultivate this? And again, Journeyman, this is a place where we can really come together. And again, I allude to what happened last Friday. We hosted the committee meeting at my house, and just seeing these members of the committee laying down their guards, talking, being vulnerable, opening up, and teaching each other, how to be present, how to be vulnerable, how to be held accountable. I need you, brother, to hold me accountable. Paul says he became all things to all men. How do not only can I be held accountable to my brother, where he can be held accountable, we're becoming all things, having all things in common.
Yeah.
Nobody's made it. And I think, that's a whole nother topic for another time, where people act like they got it all together. Like
Right.
we're going through life. And in this space, we see that men are going through things. They're coming with real life issues. Maybe you are struggling with suicide. Maybe you are struggling with mental health. Maybe you are struggling with, maybe your marriage isn't doing good, or you're not doing as best you can as father. How can we help each other? Journeyman is a place where I don't cast that stone, where if I come to any of my brothers for help, where they're not, let me pray for you and judge you and throw us. No, let me help. Let me walk life with you. Like, I would always tell my Marines this when I became an NCO, when I became a sergeant, is like, I'm not one to just give orders. I'm in the trenches with you.
Yeah.
And Journeyman is that. Journeyman, you guys we're in the trenches together. We're in the mud together. I'm not going to just throw you a rope and watch you get you out of the pit. I'm going to jump in that pit with you. We're going to get out together. That's Journeyman. It's a brotherhood. It's developing a tribal closeness where you develop relationships and you watch each other grow through life. And as time goes on, God just grows it, man. And I think if we're strong in those areas, in every other area we'll be strong. So
That's good.
accountability, relationships, engagement, and we can go on why this space is needed and why we as men need it.
Right. Yeah, and I think that and just kind of wrapping it up, the last kind of thoughts I was thinking as you were talking, as everybody was talking. Yeah, it's definitely hitting different spheres for each one of us, right? Different places in our life, even just in our conversation. like it's a warm, fuzzy feeling, right? George, Sergio said like if it feels good for me, and Pat's like, hitting different areas of accountability, and George is like talking about vulnerability and that ownership in that, and and again, man, journeyman is what is it for you? We're not trying to push anything down through, not towards you. This is not, hey, this is our mission. This is how you need to be. No, that's not it. The hardest part is, hey, I need help. Whatever addiction, whatever things that men deal with, the hardest part is, hey, I need help. And the only way that can happen is through conversation, relationships, time, eyes. What did you say? Eyes and what?
Time and eyes.
Time and eyes. That's good, man. My wife's gonna be using that now. Hey, I need some time and eyes.
Yeah,
Time.
we're making T-shirts later. If anybody wants to.
That's so good. John 4, right? John 4. That was so good, man. But yeah, man. And so, for me, because, I'm a believer, I'm a walker, I'm a minister of the gospel. I love the Lord, and I thank God he found me as a son, realizing that sonship is key in my life, And just last closing thoughts of what journeyman is to me is really the power of being vulnerable. Like being able to say, look, I can be, a CEO of a major company. I can be whatever. I can be a pastor. I can be whatever title that you claim that you can have. But can you say, I'm not okay in this area? I believe that's a strength. A lot of men see that as, fear or cowardness or so forth, but I believe it's a strength. Why? Because to me, the ultimate example is, for me, as Jesus laid his life on a cross, pretty much bare naked, beat up, bruised, vulnerable in front of crowds.
Yeah.
And what did he say right before he took his last breath? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Whew.
Yeah.
So before George starts to preach, let me let me finish my last thoughts. I believe that the power of vulnerability is a strength. And for me, I'm learning how to be more in that area. There's some conversations only you and your spouse can have, really.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the healing mentally, emotionally, physically, and even spiritually, the power of being vulnerable in the areas that you're weak is a strength.
Yeah.
So go ahead, George, tap in there.
Dude, you were reading my mind, bro.
Hey.
So we're connected. You're talking about Jesus is our. If there was a man of man, it was Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He was fully God, but he was fully man.
Right.
And the vulnerability he showed, that he showed us it was okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
He at the Garden of Gethsemane, if it be possible, Father, let this. He didn't want to go to the cross, but
Yeah.
he did it.
Yeah.
He wept. The Bible says.
That's good.
He was so tired he slept in the storm, and because he was full human experience. So he shows us the power of vulnerability. And I think whether you're a pastor, whether you're the mayor, whether you're
Right.
I don't know, whoever you are, like as a man, there are times in our life where we're not okay, and the power of vulnerability that Christ shows us, like in those moments, he asked his disciples, come and pray with me. He needed the help. He needed that fellowship.
Yeah.
He didn't have to because he was God, but he showed us that we need each other. And Hosea alluded to, like, well, he laid there on the cross naked for all to see and still had enough to say, Father, forgive them for they now will do. That's the power of what it is to be a man.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think bringing that up, both, ending on Christ, it just means so much to me. I was raised, you got to be brain dead or brainwashed to believe in God. And my life has been transformed going on 18 years. And, with journeymen to have these accountabilities and have these things, we're not looking to each other for fixing. Everything's on, and so being raised as that's another crazy story, an atheist, and then I was agnostic for a little bit, but
Yeah, we're gonna have you back.
But really, yeah, but this Christian did that, and this person did that, and I
Right.
thought you said you're a Christian, but you're drinking, and you did this, and you cheated, and you did this
Wow.
and this and that. This I'm pointing, just throwing it out there. Nobody here did that,
No,
but
no,
I'm just saying. But and I remember, I remember that I gave my life to the Lord, and I was reading the Bible, and just things were getting rough, and I was like, man, I don't know. And I was going through marriage problems, and it was just a wreck. It's just a wreck. And then I was listening to this preacher on marriage, and then I got a letter, and the letter said, I have to step down from the pulpit because I've, messed up or whatever. And I'm like, and I'm looking at this back in the day CDs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
or
CDs?
DVD, CD. Okay, kids out there, they call CDs. And I'm looking at these marriage CDs, and the pastor that I was watching or listening to the marriage CDs, I was reading a paper of like, I have to step down from the pulpit because and I was like, what? This,
What?
you know what?
Doesn't make sense.
My dad was right. This is all fake.
Wow.
It's all. And I went to go shut my Bible, and then, bam,
Ooh,
like that, I felt, base your faith on Christ, not Christians.
that's good.
Base your faith on Christ, not Christians. Base your faith on Christ. I heard it 3 times.
Jeez.
And I took that letter that the pastor had stepped down, and I folded the letter, and I put it in my Bible as my
Bookmark.
my bookmark for many, many years to remind me
That's good.
that, I love you, Jose. I love you, Sergio. I love you. I really do love you. I'm telling you guys I love you.
Right.
But at no point can I base my life on everything that you guys say.
No, sir.
And neither, trust me,
Yes.
never based on everything I say.
Mine either.
So base your faith on Christ, not Christians.
Yeah.
I hope that message gets out there and you guys share it to whoever. And
It's another T-shirt, bro.
That's another.
Dang, man. That is
But
nope. Fire.
your guys's, and I just wanted to share that. And but it brings me back to who Christ is and what Journeyman's trying to do. This is not just my story,
Right.
And we pray, bring him to us only that we bring him to you.
Yeah.
And so this is the environment that's been created and God's allowed us to do.
That's so good, man.
I gotta say this.
Go ahead, man. Go
I
ahead.
don't know if
We're just having a conversation, but
But
it's
like
all good.
we're the closing remarks were, what is journeyman? You know, it's again, it's being able to just have someone there, right? There was a time in my life a couple years ago I went through the darkest night isolation, man. I didn't talk to anybody. I don't really have family. I, couldn't really connect to at my old church, whatever it was, right? I remember Jose and a couple of others that reached out in my darkest, and it was a fight. I remember one time Jose did the brother thing. I wanted to. I almost fought him. I was about to fight him. I wanted to beat him up, bro. I was like,
well, man, I'm still hood, homie. Still got some hood in me.
But it took that. It took something. That's what we're doing. It's like, man, how do we? And I had to learn how to be vulnerable. And then
Wait, you wanted to fight him because he was loving on you and telling you
he was like, get out of your house. Stop locking yourself in. I was like, first of all,
tell me what to do.
Right?
Do you know who I am?
Trying to fix him, right?
I think me and Sergio were taking bets on the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
But in that, I needed that vulnerability, and then learning to be vulnerable, and then years later, I end up, I get married to my beautiful wife, have my beautiful family, and learning how to be vulnerable. Had I not learned that lesson, and that was amongst a group of believers that in the darkest of my times, like Christ, I wasn't judged. I wasn't looked at. There were some that turned their back on me in and out of church. There was religious organizations that came against me. There was friends and family that stopped talking to me, but in the darkest time of my life, I had a group of brethren that were there. They like David, they David's mighty man, a bunch of misfits. We helped each other out, and you see that how to reciprocate. That's what's good. It's reciprocating. Like,
right.
We don't forget where we come from. We don't have that holier than thou attitude. We don't have the I'm so and so, I'm bishop this, or I'm mayor this, or I'm I don't know CEO. No, I'm you know what? How can I be there for you? And we cultivate that, and we're leading that by. So that's what Journeyman is. We're if you put in today's standard, we're setting a trend. Hey man, we're here. You're going through life. What can we do to help? Not to fix you, not to shove religion down your throat, not to try to remind you. Because for Paul said, for such were some of us. We've all fallen short. How do we? You don't kick someone down when they fall. You help. That's what Journeyman is. It's a brotherhood we're developing. And in my darkest times, I had a group. Thank God, because I probably no man is an island. The Bible says I probably wouldn't have made it. To have these people investing in your life and not to get anything out of it. And it's not a transactional relationship. How do I pour into my community? How do I pour into these men? The father involvement network, things like that. What Jose does in community, what you're doing with these students, we're pouring, we're showing them the attributes of Christ. And the closer we are to Christ, the more manly we become in the sense of vulnerability, engagement, relationships, right? And you begin to build it, and that's what people need to see. They need to see Christ in us. But in order for them to see Christ in us, we have to be able to love each other, really be there. And to me, that's what journeyman is. It's really teaching men.
And we say it's okay not to be okay.
But
But also, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay like that.
It's not wrong to be wrong. It's wrong to stay wrong.
Right. And so we know that there's those areas of change. So Anybody watching? You want to take me to lunch and buy me
Hey,
lunch?
let's
Yeah,
go.
you know, any man, you know, and need to talk over something. I'll even let you buy me lunch.
Yeah, and here's the other thing: we're not here to provide any type of mental health advice.
No.
You know, one of the things is about Journeyman is we talked about it, like connecting, right, resources and so forth. So, whatever town, whatever city you're from, there is help. You know, what we're saying is we know some connections, like in different areas of our life. Some of our spheres of influence are connected to different services and so forth. So again, it's not, oh, come to Journeyman and you're going to get a service. No, that's not what we're saying.
No.
What we're saying is, we want to invite you into community to help you, not even help, just to walk and journey with you to help discover some good things in your life.
Yeah.
And in between that, you may need a counselor. In between all that, you may need a marriage family therapist. You may need those things as things start to unveil. And that's not us. We're not saying we're going to offer that service. Let's just be clear. That's not what we're doing here. What we're all doing is we're inviting men into community to continue to have relational conversations through the journey that you're walking on.
Yeah.
And we don't need anything from you. So, any comments or questions from our viewers? It looks like we got a couple of viewers on there. It's so good to see everybody, man. And again, our first round of this, we had a couple technical different issues but we'll get it right. So let us know where you're watching from. Put it in the comments. Hey, just give us a shout out. It's good to see Isaac Fragoso out there jumping on, and another journeyman out in the Fresno metro area. Yeah, man. So I think we're going to go ahead and just close out this Sharpen session. But
we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
Shout out to Juvenile Hall.
Juvenile
all the
Hall.
workers there, probation. Shout out to IoT students.
Hey,
Just
any other shout
had
outs?
to do it. Any shout outs?
Any shout outs, sir?
We'll say this. I mean, if there's any men out there that are going through it, just know, we're available. Again,
Yeah,
not
there's
to
a-
fix, but
yeah.
there's people that care. Life hits us all. Life hits us all, and just know that there's a group that God, I believe, is raising up to just be friends, be love, be a difference in the community. So we definitely, we'll be posting our events, our gatherings, and we'd love for you guys to join and come be a part of, of community.
Yeah,
That's
for
key.
sure. Go ahead, Serge.
Yeah, and my shout out, I think in our area, Modesto can become is the metropolis
Hey.
of the area.
Mm-hmm.
But if you live in areas that are a little bit more rural, Delhi, Denair, Houston, Livingston, where it could, Friday night, Saturday night,
Right.
7, 8, 9, 10 in the evening, at night, not a lot going on. Just remember that, be mindful that you're not alone, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you have these brothers here, but also, like we've been talking this whole night, right? Go to the Father directly. And, the last two pieces that I want to share in closing, like the brothers have said, we won't fix you, but we will encourage you.
Yeah.
I think of David, and they say he encouraged himself. We will encourage you, but not before sitting down with you in your darkness,
Yeah.
in the mud.
Yeah.
Just, being with you, holding that space. And then the two pieces, I think, my prayer or my hope is that as journeyman and as a collective, that as we move forward, I think society is very reactive.
That's good.
React to what people do to us, to the attacks of the devil, to whatever it is, but that we're just stay proactive. And my mindset is very much a lot on spiritual warfare, a lot, and I think we should be, and maybe there are folks out there that might disagree, but I think that we should be very vigilant. I think especially if you experience high attacks of the devil, whatever that might look like, addictions, whatever those things might look like,
Right.
Know that it's because there's something in you, right? There's something in you. And so my mindset now in this day and age is, what's that movie with Steven Seagal, Under Siege?
Oh, yeah.
But it's really to take over regions, right?
Good.
Like, pushing out whatever demons are trying to get a hold of our young people, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol, other influences that are not from the Lord. But punching those demons in the face, right? Punching
Yeah.
them in the nose. And how do we do that, right? And it's identity in Christ.
Yeah.
And I'm preaching to myself.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
preaching
good.
to myself and walking in that authority, right? And
good.
God knows that sometimes the devil will try to come and rip your identity right out of your soul.
Right.
But just remember, right, this is some of the foundations for Journeyman, I believe, is our identity in Christ and the authority, right, to
Yeah.
be able to take over these regions.
It's good, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and that definitely we're looking in from the believer's lens, and so some of this language might be foreign to you. You never heard of, maybe you were an atheist like Pat, right? And so, again, it's just that language and having that conversation with you and learning about each other, really sharpening each other in different areas. So
Just know that anyone hearing, God has a plan. He has
Yeah.
a purpose for your life.
Right.
And, don't feel like it's, as long as you have breath, there's always hope. So that's our job as journeymen, is to just let you know that there's a plan, there's a purpose for you.
Yeah. And it's discovering that, man. So, we got some scrolling through the screen there. You got our Instagram page. You can follow us there. We do have an email. If you have any inquiries or, hey, you want to take this model to your city, we'd love to partner with you. There's a telephone number there. Again, we're not providing direct service or any of that sort, but we want to be able to get you connected in different spaces and find resources for you. So excited about the launch of this conversation. This is some of the committee, and we'll have others join going forward. The next one is going to be Thursday, November 3rd at 6 p.m. here on all our social media platforms. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, please go there. Follow us on YouTube. We are Journeyman. You'll find the logo there, and hit subscribe and notification, and you'll get notified about how everything is kind of popping out there. And then, our social media on Facebook, we're live on Facebook, and you can hit like, share this video with others to get the trend going and get the conversation going. So I'm excited to be here. Next Thursday, we're going to have another community member at 6 p.m., Wade Patton. He's got a powerful story. He's also part of the committee, and man, I'm excited to have him in the room and see how the conversation goes, and we're gonna have others jump on going forward as well. And so, again, looking forward to see you guys next Thursday at 6 p.m. We'll be here live.
That was good. Thank you.
Sharpen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But today we must take a wider look. Because of modern communication and modern technology, the whole world has become our neighborhood. And we are demographically moving closer and closer to each other, and we've become a neighborhood without becoming a brotherhood.
Journeyman is a platform where men can lay down their titles, grow together, learn from each other, and be accountable to each other. Many of us deal with several problems throughout our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. At times, we may feel alone in our troubles. However, Journeyman is a space where you can feel safe expressing yourself with other men that are on the same path. Journeyman is a space for people like myself who never thought they would be living purposefully in their life.